is lost. Only death gives our lives meaning. Only struggle gives us purpose. There will be a new world rising from the ashes.
Even at night, Hong Kong was bustling with life. The Lockhart Road ran through the Wan Chai district. It was lined with fast food stalls and dance clubs. The neon lights were as bright as day.
Wait, Mister!
Nicholas Croydon stopped and looked at the small, skinny man.
So water girl, huh? You won?
The answer was yes. He wanted a girl very badly. Croydon was a businessman with Royal Crown Petroleum. He'd been with the Hong Kong office for 2 months now. A long time without his wife and daughters. A long time without a woman.
I'm not sure.
Come in. You choose.
The man called Croydon inside. The Paradise Dance Bar was bathed in red light.
Perhaps this wasn't a good idea.
Mola, no, you come in, come!
Gently but firmly, the skinny fellow dragged him deeper into the club. Nicholas Croydon felt sweaty in his blue polyester suit. Girls in revealing outfits were sitting on bar stools or in booths. Some raised their heads to look at him. Their smiles were fake, and he could see the desperation in their eyes.
China girl, 250. Malay, cheap, 180. Russian, good, 500.
I think I'd better leave.
No, Guaido, you stay. Have fun. Yes, fun. Good time for you.
Well, perhaps he could stay. For one beer, what's the harm?
Hello.
The girl smiling at him was in her 20s. Her lips were cherry red. She was, Croydon thought, very beautiful.
What's your name?
Nicholas. I'm Nick.
I am Jenny. Buy me a drink?
And that's how it started. For Nicholas Croydon, it was the beginning of the end.
This way. Up here.
You're like a doll. You know that. You're so gentle.
His hand rested on hers as she led him up the stairs of the Orchard Towers apartment building.
My wife's not like that, you know. She's not gentle. Not like you.
The overhead lights were reflecting in small puddles on the uneven concrete staircase. For Jenny Chen, meeting Mr. Croydon from South London was a stroke of very good fortune. If she played her cards right, perhaps they would let her live.
How much further? My God, are you trying to kill me?
Oh, yes, we're here now.
She opened the door. Her flat on the 14th floor consisted of only one room with a bed. A fan was stirring the stale air. It smelled of sweat.
Who are you?
One of the men, a Caucasian with a scar on his face, was sitting on the edge of the bed. The other was standing by the door. He was Chinese, in his 20s, but he already had a bald spot on his head.
About time.
They both wore black leather jackets and black gloves. The Chinese man had a knife.
I've got to go.
You're not going anywhere, mate.
What do you want? Who are you?
I'm no one. What about you? What's your name, mate?
Nick.
Sit down, Nick.
I don't understand. I'm leaving.
Croydon turned around, but...
Open the door!
I said sit down now!
You do what he say. He a very bad man.
That's right. I'm very bad man. He's a good boy. You know, I used to be just like you. I was lost until I met him. I didn't even know it.
If it's money you want...
Now that just proves my point, doesn't it? You think it's money? You think that's what we're after?
What do you want?
Everything. Look around you. This world is lost. All this, it's a hellhole. Guys like you, you're the disease, and we are the cure. We want your body, your soul.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You will, I promise. You're very lucky, you know that. You've been chosen.
Listen, I really need to...
Stay where you are. Now, I need to ask you this, and let me tell you, your answer, what you're going to say right now, is very important. Very important. Are you ready? Do you accept the father into your heart? And do you accept the mother into your body?
I don't...
The man reached out and grabbed Croydon's middle finger. He bent it backwards until it broke.
Wrong answer. The vessel has to be willing. Do you understand? Are you willing?
Yes!
I need to hear you say it. I am willing.
Yes! I'm willing! I'm willing!
Now there's a good boy. Get the larvae.
The other man opened a briefcase and took out a glass container, the kind used for laboratory specimens.
Open it.
For a brief moment, Jenny Chen thought she saw a fluttering movement inside the vial.
You shut your mouth, girl. This isn't about you.
The thing inside resembled a black snake.
Oh, careful. Don't hurt it.
The man with the bald spot took out the creature. It uncoiled in his hand.
I'll hold his mouth open. No point resisting. This is your destiny.
No!
Yeah, you try anything, mate. I'll break every bone in your body.
No!
Help me hold him down.
No!
With terror in her eyes, Jenny Chen watched as the Asian man brought the writhing animal closer to Croydon.
No! What are you...
Now take your medicine like a good little boy.
The creature was following its instincts. It needed a place to nest. It turned its head towards Croydon's open mouth.
That's right. There's a good boy.
And then it entered him. Its slimy scales pressing against his lips, pushing down his throat.
There is a darkness that is more than an absence of light. It's a living thing. It takes you completely. My name is John Sinclair. I work for Scotland Yard, Special Division. It was a cold, rainy day. The radio said there was a storm front headed towards London. I was on my way to Heathrow International Airport. I parked my car at Cargo Area B, right by Hangar 21. Policemen were stationed in front. I showed my ID, and they let me in. Hangar 21 looked like a large warehouse, full of crates and shipping containers. To my right, just by the entrance, were customs offices and desks. To my left, deep inside the hangar, were crates of all sizes. And the entire south wall seemed to consist only of a massive steel shutter. The loading gate, I presumed. I saw police officers, airport personnel, and customs inspectors. I approached one of them, a young woman in a neatly pressed uniform. She was anxiously staring at a clipboard in her hand, chewing on her fingernails. You seem a bit tense.
Can't you see I'm busy?
I'm DCI Sinclair, Scotland Yard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought...
I'm here for flight 714.
Of course. It just landed. You're picking up the package. package, aren't you?
I can't say. It's top secret.
It's all so exciting.
The flight had been routed to the cargo areas to shield it from view. It was exciting, at least for her. For me, it was all part of the job.
I'm told there are no passengers aboard.
I looked at my watch. Almost time. The steel shutters went up. Daylight flooded into the hangar. I could see the vast plain outside, and a group of people coming towards us, including a man on a stretcher.
Is this the package?
Special delivery. The man's arms and legs were tied down with straps. He was surrounded by medical personnel. It looked like he was in a lot of pain.
What's wrong with him?
I'm not sure. The man's body, his stomach, was unnaturally bloated. His face was pale. His eyes were bloodshot. He was shivering. I walked towards the medical team.
DCI Sinclair?
The team was accompanied by a man in an elegant black suit. He was Asian, about as tall as me, rather handsome, lean, muscular. Our Hong Kong operations manager. Inspector Suko? He glanced at me, sizing me up.
Call me Suko. Easier that way, don't you think? You must be Sinclair.
Call me John. Easier that way. I shook his hand and looked him in the eyes. He seemed friendly enough, but looks can be deceiving.
You are the chauffeur.
Am I the what?
The chauffeur. To bring Mr. Croydon and me to the clinic.
Well, yes, but...
Shall we go then?
Yes, let's. We started moving through the hangar towards the doors in the back. I looked at Croydon. Suddenly, I could see movement under his skin. Inside his body.
Anesthesia is wearing off. We've had him sedated for the flight from Hong Kong.
Looks like he didn't take to the climate there.
It's not for everyone. We did a sting operation at the Orchard Towers on Lockhart Road 48 hours ago. And we found him like this.
What happened?
He walked into a honey trap. A prostitute named Jenny Chen. She led him to her room. He was attacked and, well, it seems they inserted an organism into him.
An organism?
Our surgeons were going to cut it out, but the procedure was too risky. Sir James arranged for a transport home.
The thing inside his body started to press against his skin, as if it wanted to get out. What is that?
We think it's a larvae of some kind.
A larvae?
They're small creatures that turn into big creatures.
Yes, I'm aware, thank you, Inspector Smarty Pants. Who would do this to him?
The Black Dragon.
The what? Nothing gets your attention like a gunshot. A man near the exit doors had raised a gun into the air. He wasn't alone. Two others were with him. People got on their knees, pressing themselves against the floor. But not me. I pulled my Beretta 92. I saw that Suko, too, had his service revolver in his hand.
Don't move! Put your hands up!
The man pointed his gun at me.
John!
Damn it!
Both Suko and I managed to dodge behind one of the cargo crates inside the hangar. Who are these guys?
The Black Dragon!
I peeked out from behind my cover.
Everyone stay down! Keep calm!
The policeman in the terminal had taken cover and returned the fire. I raised my wrist up and activated my radio watch to contact control.
Perkins! What's happening? We're under attack! Requesting backup!
I stepped out from behind the container and opened fire. The attackers were moving towards the stretcher. Suko took the other flank. He came out from behind our cover, aimed and... Suko hit one of them in the right arm.
Careful! Can't risk injuring Croydon.
They've got him!
The intruders were pushing the stretcher, rolling it out of the open loading gate onto the tarmac. They fired indiscriminately into the hangar.
We've got to stop them!
Don't say.
I moved outside, in combat position, my gun in both hands. The men were wheeling the stretcher towards a black van on the tarmac. They opened the back doors. The men lifted the stretcher into the van. I wanted to stop them, but another man lunged out behind the west corner of the hangar. I hadn't seen him before. He had an automatic rifle. I managed to duck behind an airplane tugger. More shots, but these were coming from behind me. When I looked over my shoulder, I saw our lads advancing through the open loading gate. Suko was leading them. He fired at the man with the automatic rifle, hitting him in the leg. Our boys ran towards Croydon. By now, the stretcher was in the van. I started running. The men climbed into the van. And then, I saw another person in there, sitting on the back seat. He turned towards me. I couldn't see his face. He was wearing an ornate mask. A dragon mask. The van sped off. I looked around, and then I saw a patrol car pull up.
Suko! What are you waiting for? Get in!
Go, go, go!
We raced after the black van, straight across the tarmac. I put a new clip into my Beretta. The car swerved.
Where did you learn to drive?
I'm doing what I can, Johnny.
Don't call me Johnny. We agreed on John. I don't like Johnny. Keep it steady. I want to try something.
I lifted my upper body out of the window. I held onto the car door and aimed my gun with my other hand.
What are you doing? They've got Croydon in there.
We need to stop them.
I knew very well I couldn't risk hitting Croydon, so I aimed carefully.
Shoot at the tires, only the tires.
Yes, thank you.
But it wasn't easy at this speed.
You missed.
You try it.
I'm driving.
Doing a hell of a job of it, too.
The van was racing towards the fence by the edge of the runway.
That's not good.
Hang on.
Our car made a sharp left turn and sped onto the main runway.
Look, the rearview mirror.
What?
I followed Suko's gaze, and I saw it, looming behind us in the mirror.
A plane? Great!
Well, we are at an airport.
It's coming straight for us.
It was a massive airliner, ready for takeoff. It felt like a war, moving at you at hundreds of miles an hour.
Pull over!
I'm trying!
The plane's front wheels lifted up. Suko kept trying to pull the car to the right, but the plane was faster, much faster. Its massive wheels smashed against the rear of our car. The car started spinning. I lost my grip. The impact threw me out of the window. I landed hard on the asphalt and immediately tried to roll to my side out of the way. I watched the car turn over on its roof. For a moment, the sky darkened as the vast shape lifted up, tailwinds pressing me down to the ground. And then it was up. I got to my feet and staggered towards the car. I could feel blood running down my face. I had taken some bruises.
Suko!
The car door opened and Suko came stumbling out. He was unharmed.
John? They're getting away.
Suko and I whirled around and aimed our guns at the van's tires. It was almost at the perimeter fence now. And then, the van broke through the barrier. We saw it vanish in the distance.
They got him.
That's really unfortunate.
When the backup arrived, we both stood there like bad little schoolboys, getting a talking to by Glenda Perkins, my direct supervisor. She was a very attractive woman, but tough as nails.
It's a bloody disgrace.
Sir James Powell just stood there, glaring at us from behind his thick glasses. Superintendent Powell was the head of Special Division. He was not amused.
How could this happen? I sent you on a simple errand. Pick up a chap at the airport.
They must have infiltrated the terminal. We were unprepared for an attack of this magnitude.
Well, that much is obvious, isn't it?
I was under the impression that Special Division was the best of the best.
People exaggerate.
Apparently.
And you, Suko, you've gone soft over there in Hong Kong.
The Black Dragon isn't a normal crime ring. They're an army. Well-trained, well-organized.
They knew exactly what they were doing. And they left us looking like bloody idiots.
Oh, I was just about to say that.
What do we know about them?
They've got their fingers in just about anything. Drugs, human trafficking, arms smuggling, you name it. I spent almost a year in Hong Kong trying to dismantle their network. It was run locally by a man named Lester Channing, a former drug smuggler with several outstanding arrest warrants in the UK and in Thailand. My men traced him to an apartment building in the Wan Chai district.
And you killed him.
I had no choice. He attacked us.
Channing could have led us to his higher-ups. What do we know about their command structure?
They're organized into autonomous cells. The head of the snake is a man called the Manchurian. We know very little about him.
Such as?
He was born in the Heilongjiang province.
Where?
An area in the northwest of China. It means Black Dragon River in Mandarin, by the way. It used to be called Manchuria, when it was still under Japanese occupation during the war.
Ah, yes. The good old days. So who is this Manchurian? What does he want?
We don't know. He must be in his 80s now. When he was a child, he fell into the hands of Unit 731. We assume that he was tortured, and that he became radicalized. After the war, the Manchurian simply disappeared. But in the decades since, he's been rumored to be building his criminal enterprise. My sources tell me he's recently left mainland China. He's coming here, and he wants Croydon.
I don't think this is about Croydon.
Oh, don't you now?
It seems he was just a random victim. Could have been anybody. He's just the host body. No, this is about the thing inside him.
I need you to find Croydon. Both of you.
Both of us? With all due respect, London is my town. I don't need any hand-holding.
Recent events would suggest otherwise. If you have a problem with my decision, there'll be a position in accounting opening up soon.
Sir James, I've been working on this case for months. This man knows nothing about Chinese connections.
Shut up, both of you, and get to work. We can't have foreign criminals abducting British nationals. Makes us look weak.
Heavens forbid.
Yes?
The call was from one of our patrol cars. They had found the missing black van parked under a flyover in Hounslow. Not much was left of it. The wreck was still burning when Suko and I arrived. A heavy-set fellow in an ill-fitting uniform approached me.
Well, if it ain't the demon hunter.
Sergeant.
What happened to your face?
You should see the other guy.
I'd love to, but I was told you let him get away. And who's that now?
Inspector Suko, Foreign Branch.
Foreign Branch? What on earth do we need them for?
If only I knew. What have we got?
Well, we found a van, but it's burnt out. There are tyre tracks over here and here. This is where they pushed the stretcher.
So, they must have switched vehicles.
It'll be impossible to trace them now.
Was anyone in the van?
Take a look.
My God. The smoke filled my eyes and lungs. It smelled of something odd. Human flesh.
2 men inside.
What's left of them? The van from the coroner's office arrived to pick up the bodies. I watched as they carefully removed them from the smoldering wreckage. The men worked fast and efficiently. Less than half an hour later, the van was gone. But there was one question I still couldn't shake.
What is it?
I'm thinking. The Black Dragon. Why would they kill their own people?
I've seen it in Hong Kong. They're fanatical. They kill anyone who knows too much. And they are willing to die for their cause.
And what exactly is their cause? Suko and I took the M4 back into London. There was construction on the embankment, so I made a turn and took a few side streets towards Special Division. I'm not trying to upset you, but you really need to work on your driving skills. If there's one thing you could improve...
Well, better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without one.
What the hell? A silver metallic sedan had cut us off, deliberately.
Who are these guys?
They forced us to brake, boxing us in. 2 rather sturdy-looking gentlemen got out.
Friend of yours?
Not exactly. You're a nice guy, Suko, but I would appreciate it if you kept your mouth shut right about now. You don't know these people.
Oh my. Should I be scared?
You're not from here. We do this my way. We stepped outside. One of the men was large and beefy. He looked like a bodybuilder who's had a few too many protein shakes. His head was shaved, and he wore a bomber jacket. He was the right-hand man of Slim Freddy Valentine. I didn't recognize the other one, the driver.
Sorry about that, John.
Nicky, you're endangering public safety.
I said I was sorry. Freddy wants a word.
Does he now? Suko, this is little Nicky.
Little Nicky?
Yeah. On account I'm so big, see?
I like your wit, Nicky.
Who the hell is he?
My partner, Suko.
Well, aren't you two a lovely couple? Get in a bloody car.
And what if we don't?
Come on, don't make this hard. It's just for a chat, real friendly like. About the Black Dragon.
I looked at Suko and shrugged.
Come on, we're all gentlemen here.
I'm not.
That's true.
What did I just say about staying quiet? Little Nicky had taken our guns from us and driven us to Bethnal Green in East London. Slim Freddy Valentine was a local gangster. I had helped him once, a few years ago, when he had some trouble with a blackmailer. We weren't friends exactly, but we weren't enemies either. The old Victorian building had been painted pink on the outside, but the paint was peeling off. It gave off a squalid air.
What is this place?
A brothel. The owner is a man named Freddy Valentine. Slim Freddy.
Charming name.
Charming man. Little Nicky led us down a narrow hallway towards an office in the back.
Boss, I brought the coppers like you asked.
Slim Freddy was a fat man in a brightly colored tracksuit, sitting behind his desk like an enormous toad. He was clutching a box of Kleenex. He was crying.
Sinclair?
How you doing, Freddy?
He nodded and indicated 2 seats in front of his desk. I exchanged a quick look with Suko. He shrugged.
Would you like me to hold your hand? Or is there something you needed from us?
I'm very, very upset, John. Do you mind if I call you John?
Yes.
You can call me Suko if you like.
Who the hell is he?
My new partner.
Who could stand to be around you?
Good question.
It's a temporary arrangement. Now, is there a reason we're here? Because I'd like to get back to my gun.
His enormous body leaned forward over his desk and he handed me a large black and white photograph.
She's very pretty. One of your girls?
The woman in the picture was in her early 20s. She was pretty, though not exceptionally so. A normal, happy young woman.
That's Sandra. That's his daughter.
She was slightly overweight, taking after her father, I suppose, and dressed somewhat conservatively. I noticed she had an engagement ring on her finger.
You must be so proud.
She's gone.
What do you mean, gone?
Nicky, show him the box.
Sure, boss.
Little Nicky opened a cabinet and took out a small metal box. He put it on Slim Freddy's desk.
Well, go on. Open it.
The first thing I saw when he opened the box was a faint white mist.
Dry ice.
Well done, Inspector. I leaned forward, and then I saw it. Inside the box was a human hand, severed at the wrist. I looked at it. The fingers were manicured and had subtle nail polish on them. And on one of them, I saw an engagement ring.
Sandra.
What happened?
There was a note. Look at that sign. The dragon symbol. They took her.
They?
The black bleeding dragon. They've been edging into my territory for months now. Beating up my halls, my bookies, scaring off my customers, and now...
Freddy, we're going to have to confiscate the evidence. The coroner needs to see this.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot.
What about the engagement ring on her finger?
Chap named Randall Baker. Randy Randall. Never liked him much.
Why did you contact us? Surely a man of... your means would have the capacity to deal with this.
I sure as hell wanted to. But Nicky here...
I didn't think it was a good idea. Going at it ourselves.
And why is that?
Let me be clear, Johnny.
Don't call me Johnny, all right?
He doesn't like that.
I have the means, all right? I have plenty of means. But we're smart enough to know that it would lead to war. And war attracts coppers, which is very bad for business, coppers are.
We'll find her, Mr. Valentine. I promise you that.
I hope you do find her. Because if you don't, I'm gonna take everything I have, all my men and all my means, and I'll go to war if it's the last thing I'll ever do.
Where do we find this Randall?
We arrived at the address Valentine had given us. Upton Park, a rather triste-looking area of East London. Sandra Valentine was not exactly marrying up, if she was marrying at all. The front door was open and we went up the stairs. Let me do the talking, all right?
You do it so well.
I sense a hint of sarcasm here.
A bird does not sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Birds sing because they communicate with other birds. You drive me crazy.
You're a very noisy bird, John.
Oh, I'm noisy.
You feel threatened by me.
That's ridiculous.
It's true. You have a hard time trusting people.
Because people can't be trusted.
We have to trust each other, John. Like it or not, I'm your partner.
For the time being.
No answer.
I placed my ear against the door.
Well?
He must have left the water running when he went out.
Happens all the time. We could break down the door.
I threw myself against the door. We both pulled our guns. I stepped inside over the broken door and looked around the room. It was empty, but something wasn't right. The bathroom. We slowly approached the bathroom door. With my left hand, I pushed the door open. The man in the tub had been dead for several days. The plug wasn't in, which is why the tub hadn't run over. Randall Baker was sitting in a shallow pool of water, which sped up the decay. Flies were already nesting in his eyes, under his skin. Suko turned off the water. He pointed at the man's wrists. They were scarred. There was a straight razor lying on the ledge. Blood was everywhere.
Suicide?
No. Look at those bruises. They held him down.
And cut him open. John.
I see it.
My God.
The bathroom tiles were covered with markings. In blood. A demonic-looking face. Or a mask.
The sign of the Black Dragon.
They're rather keen on brand awareness, aren't they? While the lads from the coroner's office and the crime lab secured Randall Baker's flat, Suko and I reported to Control. Special Division's Control Center was a large squad room, full of people and activity. Everyone was hard at work. Glenda Perkins stood up from her desk and approached us. She was thrilled to see us.
You two, finally. Did you find Croydon?
Not yet.
It's a big city.
Well, he's not here.
We just talked to Freddie Valentine. His daughter was kidnapped.
Slim Freddy has a daughter.
The Black Dragon. They cut off her hand and sent it to him. As a warning.
There was a note.
I handed her the piece of paper.
That symbol?
I think it's the face of a dragon. I've seen it before.
Me too. Larry!
Yes, ma'am?
Is the projector working again?
Yeah, I got it to work. The power cable was loose. I jiggled it
Right,
and...
well done. Show the gentleman the pictures.
Perkins dimmed the lights, and we all looked at the projection screen at the end of the room. Large, grainy black and white filled the screen.
These are photographs taken from the security cameras at Heathrow. Take a look at this.
She walked over to the screen. I saw a photograph of the black van the intruders used to kidnap Croydon. That's him. I wonder who he is. Perkins pressed a button on a remote, and the image became larger. She zoomed in on the back seat of the van.
Who is he?
The image was barely visible, but we could just make it out. The mask he wore looked strikingly like the markings on Randall Baker's flat.
It's the symbol of the Black Dragon.
So let's see. The Black Dragon assaults an oil executive named Nicholas Croydon in Hong Kong. They implant an organism into him, the victim is brought to London, but thanks to you two geniuses, the dragon has somehow managed to kidnap him.
Force majeure. They switch vehicles in Hounslow. The man in the dragon mask presumably kills his two accomplices.
And then vanishes.
And then we learned that the Black Dragon kidnapped Freddie Valentine's daughter.
And killed her fiancé.
Which makes you wonder, what do they want?
Valentine said they're trying to take over his territory.
You think they're just a gang like any other?
No, they're a faith. They believe in some kind of dragon god.
Well, what's their end game?
I don't know.
Well, what did they do to Croydon? Why did they kidnap him? Where are they keeping him?
I don't know.
You're not getting paid for not knowing, gentlemen. I need results.
What about Valentine's daughter?
Might be that Croydon and Sandra Valentine are at the same place.
They have arms, manpower, vehicles. They need a safe house, a base of operations.
It's got to be fairly large.
We need a list of large areas or properties that are either abandoned or recently changed owners.
You mean like junkyards or old factories?
I'll work on that. Suko, you stay here with me. You'll be sifting through the land deeds and the like. Talk to the land registry office.
Oh, you'll have so much fun.
Sinclair, I want you to go to the British Museum.
And what am I doing there?
You'll be meeting with a man named Dominic Lawrence. He's one of the curators there. I called him earlier today. I'm hoping he can tell us more about this dragon symbol.
It was late afternoon when I arrived at the British Museum. It's one of the largest collections of history, art, and culture in the world. Millions of pieces were stored inside the imposing neoclassical building. Dr. Lawrence?
No, but come in.
Oh.
Yes?
You're not Professor Lawrence.
No, I'm Samantha Nichols. I'm his assistant.
She was in her 30s, with pale skin and blonde reddish hair. She wore an elegant business suit.
You must be Mr. Sinclair.
Must be. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me.
Please come in. Have a seat. Dr. Lawrence should be here shortly. Is there anything I can help you with?
I was hoping Professor Lawrence could enlighten me. I'm eager to learn more about dragons.
Dragons?
Sharp teeth, long claws, spit fire. You've heard of them, I suppose.
They're just a myth. Hasn't anyone told you yet?
Suppose they haven't. I'm investigating a criminal organization that calls itself the Black Dragon. They seem to be quite enamored of mythology.
The Black Dragon? The Hai Long?
The what?
The Hai Long. It's an ancient Chinese tale about a powerful dragon and her worshippers.
Her?
The Hai Long is said to be female.
How do you kill it?
Why would you? The dragon is the highest spiritual power, an ancient symbol of strength and wisdom.
Not this one, apparently.
The Hai Long is different. For all her power and wisdom, she was corrupted in here.
She touched her hand to her chest.
In the heart. The Black Dragon rebelled against her emperor. She commanded an army of outlaws. A terrible war was fought, and the Hai Long was exiled to the vast land beyond the wall.
The Hai Long Yang province?
Yes. She ruled there for hundreds of years. But then, a young man decided to end her brutal rule. He came to her cave and challenged her to a duel. He carried a dagger with him.
Just a dagger?
Keep in mind, Mr. Sinclair, it's only a story. There is one spot on the Hai Long's body where its scales don't reach.
She reached out, and with gentle fingers touched the small of my neck. I could feel her breath on my skin.
Right here. The neck, at the base of the skull.
You must be the gentleman from Scotland Yard.
DCI Sinclair.
Let's keep this brief. Thank you, Samantha. That will be all for now.
Of course, Professor.
What's this about? I don't have much time.
You're an anthropologist?
I specialize in ancient Eastern cultures, in particular, early China. Could we perhaps postpone this?
Professor Lawrence, I realize you're a busy man, but this is important. There are lives at stake.
Of course. I'm sorry, Inspector. Miss Nichols?
Yes, Professor?
Please cancel my appointments for the day and take the rest of the afternoon off.
Are you sure, Professor? You have a fundraiser tonight.
Thank you. Forgive my rudeness, Inspector. I've been under a lot of stress lately.
And why is that?
What is it you wanted to ask me, Inspector?
Take a look at this picture. Have you ever seen this mask before?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Where?
Well, here, at the museum, in our collection.
The museum was already closed to the public for the day. It was a bit of a thrill to walk through these halls without all the tourists and the screaming children. Professor Lawrence led me to a glass display.
Here it is. The Mask of the Demonos.
The mask was hideous. It looked like a deformed face, somewhere between a human being and a reptile. What's a demonos?
The Master of Dragons. He has the privilege of speaking with demons. The wearer of the mask is endowed with special powers, but most importantly, he can control the Hylong. Careful, it's made of wood, and it's centuries old.
Lawrence held the mask, and I could see a change in his eyes.
I was lost, you see, until I met the Father. But now, there's a new world coming.
And then he put the mask on.
You don't understand, do you?
I understand perfectly. You're under arrest. I saw tentacles extend from the back of the mask, grasping his head. The thing was merging with his face. It was alive. I pulled my gun. There was a red gleam in his eyes now. He extended his hand, his palm flat towards me. A sudden wind rose from the palm of his hand. I was knocked off my feet. My gun was thrown out of my hand.
Special powers, Mr. Sinclair. I am not a common criminal. The old world will crumble.
We'll see about that. I lunged at him, but he merely swiped his arm. I was flung through the air like a puppet. I fell into one of the display cases. Shards of glass entered my flesh. And then everything went dark.
When Nicholas Croydon woke up, he found himself chained to a stretcher. He was in the middle of what looked like a vast, empty factory. The wind was howling outside. Debris was scattered everywhere.
Hello? Anybody?
He rattled the chains on his stretcher.
Hello?
But try as he might,
Anybody?
he could not get his hands out. He was trapped.
Oh.
He looked down at his body, at his bloated stomach. Something was moving inside him.
Help! Help me! Anybody!
There were 3 men. One of them was wearing a mask. Or was it? His face looked like a reptile and the muscles were moving. The man's companions were shorter and heavier looking. One of them had a shaved head, the other a walrus moustache. They both wore mirrored sunglasses, and they both had guns in their belts.
Who are you?
The Demonos. These are my assistants.
Sorry?
You ask me, I am the Demonos.
What kind of name is that?
It's not a name, it's a title. I speak for the Father. He will come tonight.
All right. Whoever you are, I insist that you let me go right this minute.
The pain came quite suddenly. The thing inside him was twitching now. A burning agony filled his body, driving out all conscious thought. The man who called himself Demonos walked up to the stretcher. He put his hand on Croydon's massive belly.
There is no birth without pain.
What? What are you talking about?
The Hylong. She's inside you.
What's inside me?
The queen of a new world.
Help me, please. So much. Oh, God! Get it out!
Yes, I will help you.
The man drew a large dagger carved with ancient symbols.
What are you doing?
It's all right. Everything is going to be all right.
The man gently touched Croydon's head, stroking his hair as if he was a child.
It's going to be all right. You are very lucky. You have been chosen.
He leaned over and softly kissed Croydon on the forehead, like a mother would. His hand gripped the dagger tightly.
Oh, God. Don't hurt me, please.
Only as much as I have to.
Oh, God.
It'll be over quickly.
But it wasn't. He plunged the dagger into Croydon's lower abdomen. He cut deeply, but he had to be careful not to hurt her. And then, the demonos reached into the man's open abdomen.
There she is.
The creature was covered in Croydon's blood. It had changed inside his body. It had grown. The demonos looked at its snake-like body, its eyes. The other two men stood silently, the gruesome scene reflecting on their mirrored glasses, watching as the creature slowly spread its black wings and opened its mouth.
John Sinclair Demon Hunter, Episode 10, Black Dragon Rising, Part 1 of 2, audio movie by Gabriel Conroy, based on the original novel by Jason Dark. John Sinclair was played by Andrew Wincott. The narrator was Anthony Scordi. Glenda Perkins was played by Jess Robinson. Sir James Powell by David Rintoul. Suko by Chris Nelson. And Samantha Nichols by Alex Dunmore. Professor Dominic Lawrence was Neil McCall. Nicholas Croydon was Steve First. Freddie Valentine was played by Dan Mersch. And Little Nicky by Daniel Kendrick. Channing was played by Harry Myers. Jenny Chen by Rebecca Perfect. Kilroy was Ian Dickinson. The Official was Claire Louise Conley. Pimp was played by Adam Longworth. And Hailong by Laurence Bovard. Recorded from March 2016 to April 2018 at OMUK Studios, London. The recording engineer was Juan Manuel Delfin. The voice director, Douglas Velbat. The creative director, Patrick Simon. And the casting consultant, Victoria Prentice. The executive producer was Mark Zieper. Post-production provided by Ear to Brain Productions. This was a Lube audio production, all rights reserved.